Hey everybody, this is Rob from R&B Reviews, and today I'm going to be reviewing Sherlock Holmes starring Robert Downey Jr. and Jude. Well, in a nutshell, the movie is about Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson tracking down Lord Blackwood, who has kidnapped and murdered 5 girls and has been accused of practicing the dark arts. After getting arrested, he is sentenced to be executed, and during a visit to the jail, he tells Holmes that he is planning on resurrecting himself from the dead and continuing on. There is nothing that Holmes can do to stop him. Holmes dismisses all this. After all, he doesn't believe in dark arts or spirits and ghosts and all this stuff. So when Lord Blackwood seems to have risen from the dead and has been killing off some people, he becomes a little suspicious. Inspector Lestrade gets Holmes to get in on the case and to solve this as quickly as possible. Now, I don't know how many of you watched my review on the Basil Rathbone Sherlock Holmes films. If you want to watch it, it's in the classics folder. But as I mentioned in that video, I grew up on Sherlock Holmes. I've seen all the episodes of the Jeremy Brett TV show and all 14 Basil Rathbone films, and I've seen a lot of other actors go through the parts in film and television, like Peter Cushing, Ronald Howard, for example. So when I saw the trailers for this film, I was a little bit skeptical because the trailer looked like it was going to make Sherlock Holmes and Dr. Watson into these action heroes. So when I went to the movie theater, I tried to be, as neutral as possible and try not to get my expectations too high or too low. Well, during the first half of the movie, I really wasn't that crazy about it. I didn't think that Holmes and Guy Ritchie's fast style worked very well together, and I wasn't really crazy about the fast sped-up fighting or Holmes and Watson kind of being turned into action heroes. So during the first half, I just really wasn't that interested in it. It just seemed like it was too fast and I couldn't really get into it. But then during the second half, the movie seemed to slow down, the shots seemed to slow down, and it became more fun, and finally there was some tensions and I could really dig into the character. I don't know if Guy Ritchie was looking at the rushes and said, you know what, maybe I'm doing this wrong, maybe I should just do it a little bit differently. With Holmes and Watson being a little bit more like action figures aside, I think for the most part Holmes and Watson were very faithful to what was in the stories. Robert Downey Jr. and Jude were excellent. I thought they had great chemistry together, and I wish that they added Holmes' drug addiction from the stories instead of Holmes fighting at the bar, because I thought that didn't really work. I also liked how they retained that Holmes' room is messy. This film had good, funny moments, and the sets and production designs were great, and they looked authentic. And I like that they throw in Irene Adler from the short Sherlock Holmes story, Scandal in Bohemia. I found Sherlock Holmes to be just a little bit uneven. The first half, like I said, was just too fast and not really interesting, and then when the second half came, it felt like a different movie, and I actually started to get into it. And also, the movie, I think, it is making a lot of money at the box office, so I expect that they'll probably make a sequel from it. But I think if they do, I think they should go back and try to pick one of the stories that Sir Arthur Conan Doyle wrote, because I think there's a lot of them that could be great movies, like The Musgrave Ritual and so on. But overall, the movie I thought was okay, but honestly, it was just a little bit too even for me. So if someone asked me whether to see it in theaters, rent it on DVD, or to snuff it, I would probably say rent it on DVD. I think it's got some moments. The acting is very good. Mark Strong's good. I think Rachel McAdams as Irene Adler is pretty good. But honestly, I just didn't really like it as much as I hoped it would. But it was an okay movie. I ended up leaving the theater not hating it. So that's my take on Sherlock Holmes. Feel free to leave any comments and what you thought of Sherlock Holmes. I do read everything that gets posted, and we'll see you on later.